Good morning, everyone. All right, so we'll get started first of all with our general advice warning. Any advice contained within this presentation is general advice and does not consider your objectives, financial situation or needs, and you should consider whether it's appropriate to you. And of course, past performance is not an indicator of future returns. All right, so we'll get started today. Basically, we'll give a bit of an update on the Aussie market. So if you do have any stocks that you want me to have a look at during this session, please type them in the box and I'll run through them after I've done a quick update on the Aussie market. So the IMF has cut its expectations of Australia's GDP growth for this year to 1.7%, which is down a full percentage point from last year's 2.7%. While this doesn't necessarily have an immediate effect on the stock markets, it is an interesting insight into the state of the Australian economy right at this very moment. And of course, in the world market, the US market was up due to positive earnings reports from 34 of the companies on the S&P 500. So 88% of those companies did meet market expectations. And some analysts are still expecting there to be some upcoming negative results. Obviously, this morning, the market has opened up quite a bit higher, and that is on the back of this positive news from the US economy. If there is some negative news to come out when the next group of companies start to release their earnings reports, then it seems like if the market is reacting to it, there could be a negative day in the market. But we'll see what happens. It will keep things interesting either way. And we'll have a bit of a look at the XJO today. So it has been able to maintain above this 50-day moving average mark here. And it's had a strong day of growth already. It's up 0.83% or 55.5 points as we speak. And it has pushed through the 6,700 level, and it is eyeing off this 6,750 resistance level now. We'll have a look at some of the trade ideas that have come through today as well. So we had Flight Centre flagged for a iron condor trade last night and this morning. So this is Flight Centre here. This is a bronze level iron condor trade. So we can see here that the stock price has fallen quite significantly. It's starting to come back towards those 50-day, 200-day moving averages, and the volatility has increased quite substantially since this large one-day fall. We'll have a look at RHC as well, Ramsay Health Care. This has also been flagged. So it has pushed through the 200-day and 50-day moving average. It had a bit of a struggle getting past the 50-day moving average, but it has now pushed up a bit. And the volatility, it's not too high, but this has been flagged for an iron condor trade either way, looking for the price to come back around this mark where it was basically between August and September, during periods of August and September. And we'll look at James Hardie. It has once again been flagged for a LITT long trade. Let's pull this one up. Just loading. Were there any stocks that you wanted me to have a look at? So this is where we are with James Hardie. It has gapped up a little bit this morning, up to that 25.50 mark. It has pushed through that. It's been trading below that. It is now slightly above where it opened this morning. And you can see that this has had a lot of green, a lot of small but stable growth, and then some even larger movements, and quite a bit of resistance at this 25 mark. Once again, once it pushes through a major resistance line, it does give a hint that there is enough buying pressure there for this to be a breakout trade. If you entered into this when it was originally flagged, you'd be doing quite well with this position in your portfolio. We'll run through a few other stocks that have been quite interesting this week. So we've got Newcrest Mining here. It has become quite a volatile stock. The implied volatility is quite high. Its IV rank is quite high compared to the rest of the market. and it is looking like it's trading right at the bottom of its range. With the good news coming out of the US, you can expect that gold will have a bit of a small fall. It is usually a rush to safety. And we're looking at the current gold price, the spot gold price, being at $1,481.45 per ounce. We'll have a look at, I think it was FMG. So it's interesting with FMG, it's right on its support line at the moment. Opened above yesterday and today and then traded down to this support line. Anyone's guess where it will go from here. It has seen quite a lot of price action right around this point recently. It's coming up as having a relatively high IV rank at the moment in the stock screener. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on this one to see which side of this line it does pick, and if it can push through this $9 mark again at some point, or whether it will start to fall down below the 50-day moving average, or even below that $8 mark. We'll have a look at another volatile stock we have here, Afterpay. It's had a massive fall today, basically getting close to wiping off its gains over the last month. And it is now below, we're trading on a support level of 33, roughly about 33.85, 33.80. If it can push through, we might be looking at having a resistance right around where the price action was here, where my mouse is circling, and it will probably line up quite well with where the 50-day moving average will also be by the time it gets down to that level, which would make it quite a strong support level. But with this classically high implied volatility, it's not unheard of to see these wild price swings in Afterpay relative to its share price. It has been a very volatile stock. I'll have a look at our next one here as well. So I've got a question here. Explain the term iron condor. What I'll do to explain it, I'll pull up the trade in our strategy builder. I'll close a few of these windows down. While that's loading, I'll just run through a couple of other trades. Alrighty, this looks like it's loading. I'll jump in here. So you can jump in the options cookbook. We can type in iron condor. And what we can see here is a quick overview of the iron condor strategy. So what you're looking to do with an iron condor is to sell a call above the current stock price and sell a put below the current stock price. And you'll make maximum profit if you can just hold on to all of the money you received up front, all the premium, and have those options expire worthless. To do that naked is quite risky, so you also buy some protection. So you buy above the sold call a bought call, and below the sold put a bought put. That way you'll set up a payoff diagram as is shown on the screen here, where if the price remains quite close in between point B and C, as in there isn't much price movement from its current price, then you'll get the maximum gain from this strategy. If the price moves far out to the strikes of the bought call and the bought put, that is where you'll realize your maximum loss, but because it's protected, your loss won't go any further than that. If we open up the trade, we'll see the 4 legs of the trade come through. So it looks like we've got this one on ANZ. So what we have here, the current price of ANZ is at $28.13. So your 2 sold legs are the red ones. You're looking at a sold call, a sold put at $27 and a sold call at $29. So the sold put is below the current share price. The sold call is above the current share price. And then you have your protection, your bought call above the share price, even further above, and your bought put below the share price, even further below than the sold legs. And this is the premium that you receive for this position up front, $24.50. So if you want to increase the amount of money that you're receiving, you can take on a larger position by increasing the quantity here. And then you'll have $2,450 in premium for taking on 100 of these iron condor contracts. That's your maximum profit. Maximum profit is realized when this trade expires worthless, and your maximum loss is $2,550. Which is achieved right near either this strike price of the bought call or this strike price of the bought put. Okay, I've got another question here from Anoop, how to understand the portfolio so as to know when to sell. Now, there's not really much technical information in the actual portfolio screen. It really depends on where you're seeing the market going from where it is right now. And it's a lot easier to do with charting, looking at support and resistance levels, something that will either support or negate your view of where the market will be going. You can always look at the profit and loss for your position since you entered it, which is P&L, or from the changes from yesterday to today, which is today P&L. If you feel you have made a significant profit and you just want to lock in your profit, you can choose to do that. Or if you feel like you've made a significant loss and you don't want to lose any more, you can choose to do that. There's no real way, no one way to know when to sell. It's really up to you to come up with a strategy that will work in the market. I'll give you a bit of a rough idea as to a strategy that I'll be looking at. So with Woolworths, just today I did buy a put right at this level up here, hoping that this is going to be a resistance line along the top. And I will close the position out when it comes back down to this 50-day moving average. It could go further, it could even go the wrong way, but that's just what I would hold on to that position for until it reaches that moment when it has hit that 50-day moving average. So I'm not going to be looking at anything in the portfolio screen to make that decision. I'll be looking purely at the technicals from the chart. Got a question here from David. If you're struggling to get an iron condor trade filled, is there an easy way to see how much you need to adjust your pricing to get filled using the platform? Now, what you can do on the platform, it's not necessarily going to be visible to see where the market makers are, but depending on how much interest that one of our trades is getting, we can go and talk to the market makers and see what they are willing to fill the trade at, what price. You can also use a strategy if you are just looking to slowly enter into a position, say if it's an iron condor that you've come up with yourself that isn't necessarily one that we've come up with, you can just slowly tick the price down that you're willing to receive for this iron condor until you are happy with, until you've met the market maker on the other side as to what they'd be willing to pay for it. But you've just got to be very clear as to what your payoff will be when you do that. because a big change in the asking price might end up with you having a payoff diagram that may not be in your favour. So you just got to be careful. So Rowan's requested we have a look at Tabcorp, AGL and CSL. Let's have a look. All right, so this one has gone up significantly. The ADX is a bit low. It has been quite volatile with these massive upward price swings. There has been a lot of buying pressure since this bottom out in August. A lot of green on this chart. A little bit of price action, quite a bit of price action around this point. And where are we at with this breakout here? So we are looking at 52-week highs. So this has potential to be a breakout trade. It's not going to be flagged by our systems just yet because this ADX is too low. So there has been a bit of downward price movement through here, a bit of up and down and sideways price movement. So yeah, it's an interesting one. There is potential. It has gone up significantly today. The big question is whether it can sustain that upward price movement through, looks like this would be the resistance level. It's over 52 weeks, but I might just have a bit of a pause there. We'll see what happens though. It's an interesting one. We'll have a look at AGL. AGL is now continuing to trade sideways, but on top of the 50-day moving average. Yeah, okay. And that's now right between the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. It seems to be quite a bit of resistance right at this point where it is now. It looked like it may have opened slightly above or right on that resistance level and just traded back down after trading up. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's just been going sideways for months, so it's hard to have an opinion on this one. Even for a trading idea, it's not looking like a breakout, it's not looking like a fall. Even going sideways now, it's above the 50-day moving average. Would that change the behavior of the price? This is a big question mark. Not sure. We'll have a look at CSL. So this is an interesting one, hitting all-time highs, I believe, now at the 250 mark. Interesting to see if it can push up even further from this 250 mark. It's massive 2.5 times gain since the end of 2015. Even from 2017. It's pushing up and up. It's got its golden cross back here in April. The ADX is a bit low still, but it is starting to tick up. And if it is reaching all-time highs, it's pretty positive. A lot of buying pressure, a lot of green on these candles. Even when it falls down, it's got some support from the 50-day moving average. Yeah, it's a bit of potential. It's not going to be flagged by our scanners until it hits that 20 ADX, however. Right down here, it's still quite a bit below it at 15. Anoop's asked a question, can you please show what's your setting for ADX indicators? So I'll add it in again. I'll close this off. Go to studies, add study. Select the ADX/DMS here, or type it into the box. Click here where my mouse is. And what we're doing, we're just leaving it the way that it is, with the periods and the smoothing period staying at 14 and keeping it as a series. I'm getting rid of the positive and the negative DI colors just so I can see the straight ADX on its own. So I change those to white so they don't show up. Click on the complete button here, and then it will appear here. And what we're looking at is a ADX of at least 20 for a lit trade to be flagged. Anything above 20 will hint that there is some directional bias in the stock, and below 20 would hint that there's not necessarily a directional bias. It's just going up or down or sideways in any direction, quite somewhat randomly. And we'll have a look at another stock here, Macquarie Group. So this is one that I bought a put on yesterday, and I always regret every time I bought a put on Macquarie Group. I've always regretted that trade. So instantly it's jumped up and has had a strong run since it opened. It's almost reaching that 135 mark. And for my sake, I hope it turns around, but it's already pushed through its major resistance level here. So it looks like it's potentially going to be trading in a new range or continue its move upwards. The ADX is around 20 for Macquarie at the moment, but it's not pushing 52-week highs yet. So this won't be flagged for a lit trade until there is more evidence of a breakout. But it's definitely one to keep your eye on. Was there any other stocks that you wanted me to look at? Or any other features of the platform that you want me to run through briefly? Let's have a look at BSL. BSL. What is BSL doing? Looks like it's right in the middle of its range. It's meeting some resistance at its 50-day moving average. Might get stuck on the 200-day as well, potentially. Or it could just race straight through it. It has traded up and down through these levels in the past. Has been range trading around them since around roughly mid-July, just trading around the 50-day and 200-day moving average. I'm not sure on this one. It seems like it's right in the middle. In terms of buying a call or a put, I wouldn't do either at this stage, just because it could go in either direction. And this probably would have been the point, this point here or this point here, when it was reaching this support level, when the time to enter would have been. So I hit 11.15 roughly, and then the buyers came back in and pushed the stock back up, and then it has gapped upwards since then. So I've got a question here from Rowan. What is the construction of a lit long? So we'll have a look at the strategy builder. It's basically a bull put spread where you're buying You're looking at the money and out of the money. Let's have a look here. So we got LITT long for JHX flag today. We can click on that. We'll see that we have a stock price of 25.51. So we're buying a put at the money and selling a put out of the money. And it comes up with a payoff diagram. Sorry, selling a put in the money at 26.50. So it comes with a payoff diagram that looks like this. Let's turn some of these off. We'll see what it looks like at expiry. So below 25.50, you lose your maximum loss, 43, and then anything between the strikes of 25.50 and 26.50, you'll start to receive more profit as you get to hold on to your upfront premium. And then after 26.50, you'll have stable value at 57, which is your maximum profit. If you want to have a look at it in a bit more detail, you can have a look in the options cookbook and you can type in LITT long. Sell one in the money put, buy one at the money put, and you can click on this learn more button to have a look at a few more details of this strategy. So I've got a question here. What is the definition of the bronze, silver and gold ratings for iron condors or other trades? So it comes down to the ability to generate a profit from these trades based on back-tested data. We do have some detailed videos on iron condor trades, I believe under the education section of the website. But basically a gold trade has, based on back-tested data, been able to generate a higher chance of being profitable at and generating larger returns when it is profitable. A silver trade is in between, and a bronze trade has the ability to be profitable, and it's just at a lower likelihood than the silver or the gold. But based on back-tested data, the bronze still are, if you go into them and put a small amount of your portfolio into each one of these trades over the long term, still have the ability to generate profits. Not always going to win, but when you're trading, you're not looking at winning every single trade. You're looking at winning an overall increase in your portfolio value based on a range of trades that you're putting in. All right, we'll have a look at the leaderboard at the moment. So we've currently got Fat Cat in number 1, Philip Crowley in number 2, Blake Reed has ousted me, is quite proud of himself on that one. In number 3, I'm sitting here at number 4, Belinda Johnson's at number 5, and could be you at the top if you keep trading. Was there any other questions that you had, or any other stocks you wanted me to look into before I call this session to a halt? Looks like that's it for today's session, so I'll call it to a halt, and keep in mind that we will be running these sessions next week again. So Monday we'll have the Trade the Bell session. Tuesday, that'll be at 12 p.m. Tuesday at 7 p.m. we'll be running a LITT session with a guest speaker, still to be announced at this stage. And Wednesday at 12 p.m. we'll run through these LITT support sessions as well with you all. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck in the trading game.